My dear friends, today I'll be discussing about the various complications of pericarditis. Pericarditis is also known as pericardial inflammation, or it is defined as the inflammation of pericardium, which is the outermost covering of heart. Now, pericarditis may be because of viral or bacterial, fungal, parasitic, autoimmune causes. Then after my heart attack or post-MI, post-surgery, even some drug reaction also, it may leads to pericarditis. Based on the sign symptoms, pericarditis is divided into acute pericarditis, which exist or persist up to 3 weeks. That is, it persists for a or last for a time period which is less than 3 weeks. Then recurrent, where there is recurrent attacks within a gap of 4 to 6 weeks, which is called the symptom free or sign symptom free time interval. Then there is a chronic pericarditis also, if the sign symptoms of pericarditis persist for more than 3 months. So based on the sign symptom, there are various types of pericarditis, and there are various diagnostic features or diagnostic measures like ECG, then chest X-ray, sign symptoms. From the sign symptoms, typical chest pain, stabbing pain, which radiates to the neck as well as back of the shoulder, as well as shortness of breath, and along with the pericardial rub that can be diagnosed with auscultatory method or auscultation of chest. Beside chest X-ray, then ECG, echocardiography can also diagnose or differentiate pericarditis from other sign symptoms of various disease like myocardial infarction or pulmonary embolism or pulmonary thrombosis, as well as various lung problems. Beside, there is cardiac MRI, cardiac CT scan, as well as blood test, so as to rule out other disease like myocardial infarction or pulmonary embolism. Even we can diagnose the inflammation that is going on in the blood in pericarditis by doing C-reactive protein or ESR. In patients of pericarditis, ESR as well as C-reactive protein will be very much high. Beside, antibody testing for autoimmune disease like rheumatoid arthritis or SLE can also help in diagnosis of pericarditis of autoimmune origin. So there is a series of diagnostic tests by which we can diagnose pericarditis. But today's topic, we will try to focus on the various complications of pericarditis. Now there are many complications, and out of this most important is pericardial effusion. Now pericarditis or chronic inflammation, if it persists for a long time, may lead to accumulation of fluid around the heart in the pericardial cavity or pericardial space. So increase in the pericardial fluid or increased accumulation of pericardial fluid in the pericardial space is called pericardial effusion. So if there is a small amount of pericardial effusion, it can resolve by its own with time, or it does not require much treatment. But if the volume of fluid is gradually rising, it can lead to defect in the normal function of heart, and ultimately it should be removed with pericardiocentesis. So depending on the volume of fluid accumulated in the pericardial effusion, we have to treat with pericardiocentesis. So one of the important complications of pericarditis is pericardial effusion, which is the accumulation of fluid in the pericardial space because of gradual infection or inflammation that is going on in the pericardial wall. And when it comes to treatment, we have to relieve the patients by using pericardiocentesis. And in case the pericardial effusion goes on collecting or goes on increasing, it may ultimately compromise the normal function of heart, especially ventricular filling is impaired because the diastolic relaxation of the heart is prevented, and ultimately it may leads to development of a condition known as cardiac tamponade. So pericardial effusion is one of the important complications of pericarditis. The next important complication of pericardial effusion is cardiac tamponade. Now what is cardiac tamponade? In cardiac tamponade, it is also like pericardial effusion, but here the accumulation of fluid in the pericardial cavity is so much that it compromises the normal function of heart. So what is happening in cardiac tamponade? In cardiac tamponade, because of chronic pericarditis for long period, and if it's not properly treated, so there is chronic inflammation that is going on in the pericardium, and which may leads to more accumulation of fluid in the pericardial cavity, and that's why there is a more or increasing accumulation of fluid in the pericardial cavity, and the excess amount of fluid so collected may ultimately suppress or compress the diastolic expansion of heart. So when the pericardial effusion becomes so much such that it compromise the diastolic expansion of the heart, because of excessive accumulation of fluid around the heart cannot do diastolic expansion, and that's why there is lack of proper ventricular filling, and because of that there is fall in or decrease in end diastolic volume, and finally it ultimately leads to fall in cardiac output, and ultimately the systemic arterial pressure also falls, and the cardiac output is not enough to maintain the whole body circulation, and finally it may lead to heart failure also, especially diastolic heart failure. So that's why cardiac tamponade is also a serious condition. It can be a medical emergency, and it should be treated in a different way. We have to manage the heart failure. We have to remove the pericardial fluid by emergency or surgical intervention. Otherwise, the patient may die of heart failure if it persists for longer time, because it compromises the diastolic heart failure, diastolic expansion or ventricular filling, and ultimately complicates the pericarditis into heart failure. There is another type of complication, another important complication of pericarditis, that is constrictive pericarditis. What is constrictive pericarditis? In constrictive pericarditis, because of chronic inflammation or infection, and if you don't treat the pericarditis with proper therapeutic management, then the chronic inflammation may persist in the pericardium, and ultimately the pericardium may undergo thickening or calcification or fibrosis or sclerosis, and it become very hardened or it become hard, and because of that, or because of the sclerosis or scar formation or fibrosis or fibrous pericardium, the heart cannot undergo diastolic expansion, and it compromises the ventricular filling, and ultimately it will aggravate the sign symptom of heart failure, and even it may complicate to heart failure. So constrictive pericarditis is also another important complication of chronic pericarditis. If it is not managed nicely with proper therapeutic management, then it may leads to constrictive pericarditis, and treatment is by pericardiotomy or stripping of pericardium, because if you don't remove the pericardium, it may ultimately compromise the cardiac output, because it compromises the diastolic expansion of heart and prevents the ventricular filling, leading to decrease in the end diastolic volume. Ultimately patient will go into a stage of diastolic heart failure, and even finally it may lead to systolic heart failure also. So that's why constrictive pericarditis must be treated if it diagnosed at early stage by CT scan or MRI or echocardiography, and we should treat you with pericardiotomy or stripping of pericardium. So this is one of the important complication of pericarditis. There is another important complication of pericarditis is recurrent pericarditis. So recurrent pericarditis means if there is a 2 episode of pericarditis within a gap of 4 to 6 weeks, and that period is called silent symptom free interval. So at between these 2 episodes there is a gap when there is no sign symptom of the disease or no sign symptom of pericarditis, though no chest pain, no SOB, no clinical feature, and if there is again repetition of the sign symptom of the disease after a gap of 4 to 6 weeks, we call it a recurrent pericarditis. Recurrent pericarditis should be handled with care, and colchicine is the drug of choice, and even if colchicine is not active, we should treat with steroids. If recurrent pericarditis is not prevented with proper therapy, it may also leads to chronic pericarditis, and chronic pericarditis ultimately leads to various other complications. So altogether there are 3-4 complications, important complication of pericarditis. Number 1 is pericardial effusion, that is the accumulation of fluid around the pericardial cavity, which may ultimately compromise the normal function of heart. So it is depending on the severity of the pericardial effusion, we should handle it with surgically like pericardiocentesis, but amount of fluid, if it is less, then there is no intervention is necessary. Second one is cardiac tamponade, that is excessive amount of fluid accumulation around the pericardial cavity and which may compromise the diastolic expansion of heart, leading to diastolic heart failure. It is an emergency condition, and here we need emergency removal of the fluid of the cardiac tamponade. Next important complication is constrictive pericarditis. In constrictive pericarditis, there is a thickening or fibrosis or sclerosis of the pericardium, and it must be treated with stripping of pericardium or pericardiotomy. Otherwise, it may also lead to heart failure. There is another important complication known as recurrent pericarditis. It may cause because if we don't treat the pericarditis with proper management in right moment, it may lead to recurrent pericarditis, and recurrent pericarditis may convert into chronic pericarditis if it is not handled with proper therapeutic management. So knowledge of the complication of pericardial infection or pericarditis is very much important, because proper knowledge of the various complication as well as how they can be treated, we can prevent the risk of getting complication of pericarditis, and it can save many lives. Thank you very much.